the first reaction video to something Nostalgia Critic for this month. Yes, and of course, it's got to be Christmassy. And, of course, knowing Nostalgia Critic, every December, he always reviews Christmassy films. And, because knowing Doug Walker, a.k.a. the Nostalgia Critic, how much he loves Christmas! Yeah. And, I think because, for Doug himself, he really loves Christmas. And, what he does with the Nostalgia Critic and how much the Nostalgia Critic loves Christmas. It's funny. And that's right. You read the title of the first Nostalgia Critic video I'm reacting to for this month, and that being the Nostalgia Critic's review of Elf. Yes, Elf, starring the one and only Will Ferrell. And seeing as how Elf is celebrating its anniversary. Yep, and of course it's fitting to react to this, the Nostalgia Critic's review of the movie Elf, that is. I gotta say, Elf itself, I think, because I remember growing up watching this, my parents watching it at times during the holidays, and I think, Elf was one of my first movies where I watched Will Ferrell. I think, it was that and him doing voice acting. I think the other movie that I saw him in, alongside with Elf, like one of the first movies I saw with Will Ferrell, that being Elf, and also Curious George. Yeah. And, Will Ferrell, who says Will Ferrell can't do family-friendly films? Just like him and, just like him and Jim Carrey. Yeah, both him and Jim Carrey, because they're no strangers to doing family-friendly films. And they can be good at it, yeah. Other funny people that have done a lot of, I guess, most of the time doing grown-up entertainment and such, they've done family-friendly stuff, from Will Ferrell, Jim Carrey, and Jack Black, him too. I could think of some others, but anyways. So, I'm interested to see what Nostalgia Critic has to say about Elf, and, the thing is, if I hadn't established this already, I know that I probably did a couple of times, the fact that the Nostalgia Critic character has, changed and evolved over the years, and how the character of the Nostalgia Critic has become more like Doug himself. Even the best example is with Doug Walker's Disney-cember, and he recently, one of the first Disney-cember videos he did, he reviewed the Super Mario Brothers movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and he explained that when he did his review of the movie as the Nostalgia Critic, way back in the old days of YouTube and with, how the Nostalgia Critic videos turned out, the old version of the Nostalgia Critic, the Nostalgia Critic was more of a character, you know what I'm saying, and just bashing and hating on it. But as of now, the Nostalgia Critic has changed and is more honest on what to say about whatever it is he's reviewing. So, yeah, that's good, that's good, and that's perfectly fine, So, yeah, hopefully, he'll have some positive things to say about Elf, because Elf is not a horrible Christmas movie, and shout out to my mom, as I sometimes give her shout outs. I don't know, she's not a huge fan of the movie Elf, and for that matter, Will Ferrell, it's just her opinion, that's all. But, Will Ferrell, he's a good actor, and he is a funny man, and he's done a lot of great movies, and especially, family-friendly films, as I've explained. But, enough said, let's see what the Nostalgia Critic has to say about Elf. Starting in 3, 2, 1, start.
This episode brought to you by ExpressVPN, the best VPN there is. Take back your online privacy today. All Also brought to you by Mint Mobile, the first company to sell wireless services online only.
Okay. Now, because I know that I'd like to say I know that we all should know for the fact that when he's done Nostalgia Ween, there's always a new special intro, but nothing really for Christmas. I wonder why. I mean, I'm just saying that there should at least be like a Christmas-themed intro for Nostalgia Critic.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia guy. Remember it so you don't have to. December? I should change. Question nothing. The answers will disturb you. Anyway, I'm
it
excited
morphed.
because the Christmas season is back in full swing, and you know what that means. Merry Christmas! There, Santa Christ made an appearance. On to the review.
It wouldn't be the same without Santa Christ.
Actually, can you do old SC a favor? I knew this was more than a cameo. One of my disciple elves has always wanted to see the world.
Hi, I'm Betty.
Congrats. Follow your dreams and leave me out of it. She wants to learn how the real world operates. Dude, I make my living on the internet. The exact opposite of the real world.
But think of all the comically cute possibilities.
I guess something funny could come of this. See you in a week.
In a week.
Hey,
That's what I said.
I'm Betty, the disciple. Is this your TV?
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have TVs at the North Jerusalem. Is this your
North
magic wand?
Jerusalem.
Turn it on?
I guess you could call it that.
That's a cool shirt that Malcolm's wearing. The tiger.
Oh, it's like a flat Christmas pageant, but they talk about things other than Christmas.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of adorable. Yeah, I wonder why Santa Claus was so eager to get rid of her.
The yellow sponge is talking.
Because of that. Her contagious laugh, you know?
Wow, what is this amazing invention I see before me?
It's a pen.
Wow, we only write with a spin of
Yeah, it is
paper
pen.
theories.
Really?
At first I thought it was a sonic screwdriver.
Maybe
Her
she
ears
said
kinda
it
hanging
was
off.
my tech.
You see that? Like, her ears just...
What's going on here? Why is
I
she-
wonder if they're attached to the hat.
What's that laugh track?
Well, it looks like before she was a disciple, she worked on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, so sometimes she's entertaining us, and other times
She's entertaining a live audience.
This is the happiest day of my life, and when I'm happy, I fart candy canes. Here you go.
I'd like to see a video of, like, a tour of the
It's
studio.
loving too.
Maybe we were too rough on her.
Like, just seeing all the collectibles and valuables they have.
I hate her.
You can have an emotional argument with her.
Wait, I don't want to be the one to have to look after her. Why can't you do it?
What are you gonna do, Doug?
Okay, I'll look after her.
Yeah.
What's that?
My hand.
But that's how annoying Betty is.
Okay, so I'm really not shocked if somebody didn't like Elf.
Yeah, you know, as I kind of explained.
The 2003 smash hit put both Will Ferrell and Jon Favreau on the map as unlikely cinematic draws. The simple concept about an elf who's really a grown human being going to New York to find his dad sounds harmless enough, and to many it was. It won over a fair amount of adults and definitely a ton of kids, mainly from Will Ferrell's larger-than-life performance. But after years of being overplayed, overquoted, and yes, overshouted by millions of kids, the movie got on a lot of people's nerves. I remember seeing it and not really liking the movie as much as Ferrell's performance. Now, looking back almost 20 years later, it's both a little better and a little worse than I remember. Bottom line, when the movie is trying to be big, a clear influence, I think it's pretty likable. When it's trying to be
Yeah, why did I
original,
not think of that?
It's kind of a pain. As silly as it looks, it actually is an interesting film to look over, and that's what we're gonna do today. That is, if I don't get interrupted.
What's that?
That's you.
Again, how annoying Betty is.
Let's take a look at Elf. Bob Newhart plays Papa Elf, and right off the bat I can say, while the story is fine, I don't think the writing is that great. Newhart can literally get a laugh.
Elf was my introduction to Bob Newhart, actually.
I know what I said. Here, I'm ready to laugh at anything funny he says, and they literally give him nothing funny to say. You wasted your Newhart.
Another interesting
Wow.
ism. There are only 3 jobs available to an elf.
I feel like I'm watching the geriatric porn parody, except that would get more laughs. The film is
Oh,
very fun.
Doug.
It looks like the UCG only when they had to in this opening, and the rest of the time they either create sets satirizing the old Rudolph specials, or they even use stop motion. Again, they almost never say anything.
The snowman is the best example.
At an
Leon.
orphanage, Santa, played by a
Leon is modeled after Sam. I think we all should know that.
I didn't use Chips Ahoy, so I'm taking the kid. Accidentally gets a baby in his bag and brings him to the North Pole.
Santa had a decision to make. Fortunately, when it comes to babies, Santa's a pusher.
Meanwhile, the orphanage had him illegally declared dead after a few years, but the opening credits are cuter showing on greeting cards than milk cartons. They named the baby Buddy as he grows up over the years through some surprisingly well-aged effects, until he eventually becomes Will Ferrell. And yeah, for
Aged
most people,
effects?
he's either what makes or breaks this film, and honestly, I find I like him when he's legit believable. Yes, I use the word believable. It's clear humans and elves age differently in this world. He's still in school with little kids as a grown man. So most of the movie he acts like a little kid, and when he plays that straight, it's kind of endearing.
I thought the magical reindeer made the sleigh fall.
And where did the reindeer get their magic from?
Christmas spirit. Everybody knows that.
I could easily see a little kid saying these lines that way. I'll also admit, I just find earnestness funny. And there are several times where his naive optimism wins me over.
A lot of people down south don't believe in Santa Claus.
What? Everyone thinks the movie is nothing but him yelling, but there are plenty of moments where he acts, dare I say it, a tad subtle. That said, there are plenty of moments where he does scream, and they usually don't work.
But that's funny right there.
Some do, thinking Santa is an imposter later in the movie. I buy that. This would be his reaction. But when he's told his biological father is on the naughty list,
Now that's the thumbnail.
that's not how a little kid would react. That's Will Ferrell being wacky. And yeah,
I timed
I'll
it.
say I'm one who's done a lot of over-the-top reactions, and I'm just gonna guess in the 15 years doing this, they haven't all worked. But the
That's when
truth is,
you were in character, you know what I'm saying? As I
it's
explained.
a lot to risk. A really quiet, subtle form of comedy is dry, respectable, and usually has a hard time getting noticed. Because of this, big reactions are seen as cheap, easy laughs. I get it. But that's
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing. If
him
a
from
quiet
Fifth
joke doesn't
Element.
work, you usually don't risk that much. If a loud joke doesn't work, you
What's her name again?
like an
I forget.
obnoxious ass. Not to say deadpan humor can't have its risks, but loud humor, you can lose your audience just as quickly as you can
Medea.
have them gravitate towards you. So I can't just dismiss when someone puts all their energy into a bit. But I can say when it wins me over and when it doesn't. And yeah, don't worry, we're still gonna address those moments. Once Buddy discovers the truth, he decides he should go to New York to find his biological father. And I'll just say it, I don't understand this joke.
What joke? Like,
Bye, Buddy.
hope you find your
I
dad.
really thought Dr. Manhattan's dick was gonna rise up and kill him. Did that scene forget a punchline? Buddy literally just walks from the North Pole to New York. Like I said, the story laid out is pretty great. But I will admit, it could be a little meaner. Like this scene where he tries to hug a raccoon. Okay, he should have scratched
A monkey
his arm on
sound
his face
effect?
and be walking with a limp. That's what I mean when I say the writing needs to be a bit more cynical. Or how about this scene where he gets to New York and naturally you get a montage of all the things he doesn't understand.
Yep. And the Louis Prima song.
To me,
His cover of
it's
Pennies
not
from
funny.
Heaven.
What is funny is how is he going to pay for that shoe shine? Imagine him saying he doesn't know what money is, or he tries to pay him with a hug or candy or something, and the guy whoops his ass or chases after him. That would have been hilarious. So many of these jokes are mistaking the setup for the payoff, and it does get distracting time to time. Yes, more of that, please. A lot of these scenes do kind of feel like dated 2000. Okay, let's just start it. Here's a count of all the moments that scarred parents because their kids try to reenact it in real life. Don't think actual puking isn't included. I hear some of this was improvised, which, again, really shows. I do feel like he has too much SNL in him at this point, which is fine for a live show, but here... Oh, am I kidding? This is subtle compared to what other New Yorkers do.
Did you know most
Oh, now you do. Oh my god. I hate when that happens, like with ads, you know? They're off cue, you know what I'm saying? Like, jeez. But yeah, that was, okay. That was improvised when they were out in New York. In fact, not that much of a film crew. It was just Will Ferrell, Jon Favreau, and maybe like 2 or 3 people, I guess, with like a camera, and them just filming around New York. And, you know, obviously, you know, the people in New York, you know, they weren't part of what was going on. So, I mean, I wonder, like, unless, like they'd have to notice them, the film crew and so on, and the film crew would have to explain, you know. You know, it's kind of also like how, this popped in my head, like, in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, when they were filming at San Francisco, there were some people that were not part of the film, and some of it was improvised, you know? Like that scene, and I remember my dad and me talking about that, and especially he told me, because, like, you know, the one scene where Chekhov and Uhura are asking the location of the nuclear vessels, you know, and how Chekhov, how he talks, like, nuclear vessels, and they ask this one lady, and she really wasn't part of the movie. If anybody knows that story, and to all of you Trekkies, I just thought I'd mention that, because that's a good example. It is. So, you know. Alright, but back to it. Is there going to be a second ad? Maybe, maybe not. Nope.
He finally meets up with his dad, played by James Caan. And
what's going to be the next ones?
I completely miss the comedic genius of this performance. When you're young, you're watching Ferrell. When you're older, you're watching Caan. Remember when I was saying there's an art to subtle reactions? Well, I'll just say it. Caan masters that more than Ferrell masters loud reactions. Ferrell's humor is hit and miss in this. Almost everything from Caan hits a perfect bullseye. If you were told he thought the camera wasn't rolling and this was his legit reaction to first seeing Ferrell in that costume...
Alright, let's get it over with.
Wouldn't you believe it? James Caan looks like he's on his way to another set, and this goddamn elf movie keeps screwing with him whenever he walks by. I don't even think he knows he's in a movie. It's like a Bullfinger Christmas. Look at these reactions and tell me they're not gold.
Where'd you get this picture? Papa Elf gave it to me.
Dad?
I can go ice skating and maybe even hold hands.
Well, I mean, that's part of the character he's playing, obviously.
Remember Steve Buscemi watching that landlord's dance in The Big Lebowski? Imagine that's a whole performance. He throws out Buddy, but he makes his way to a mall.
I've seen Big Lebowski, but I forgot about. I kind of forgot about that part.
Again, you don't need much explaining there. That's surprisingly organic. With that said, really, Ferrell, you don't need to try this hard. Now we usually come to a trip to the yard.
That part.
Despite it being another Scream, I do buy he would be excited Santa's coming there.
Santa's coming to town! Oh my god!
I love that. I love
You
that.
do need to cut away faster, because it is almost looking like a horror film.
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Imagine if this was a horror movie.
Can I kiss you?
Oh my god.
Zoe Deschanel's nightmare eyes.
Get that off screen.
No, God, she should have been the scary thing in the happening. In fact, you're sure these genres weren't switched?
I'm just trying to get through the holidays.
This is Jovi, and she has the holiday blues, but Buddy tells her all she needs to do is sing to lift her spirits.
I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
Being a parent...
And I'm singing.
Buddy does get a chance to hear her sing as she showers in the ladies' room. Well, I can't enjoy this problematic scene.
He
Because there's a man watching a woman shower.
he apparently knows the song.
Cold outside. Enjoy voting for Trump movie. On that note,
He's not watching literally. He's just right there, you know. He's not standing right in front of the curtain, you know. Just saying.
You sure I didn't put on this elf? But it's cool. She forgets
Should have
that
used
we're
the psycho
ridiculously
music.
fast.
You sure it had nothing to do with the fact that I was naked in the shower?
I didn't know you were naked.
We elves all shower together, regardless of sex.
Okay. But
Warm milk. It's kind of a cult.
we saw him shower.
Anyway,
You built this? They're kind of pissed about this.
no. Let's go back to the shower thing, because, okay, on the one hand, I'm glad they don't waste too much screen time on this. It might have gotten a little boring, but on the other hand, he was watching her shower. She got past this way too quick.
Maybe that's just her.
Santa apparently arrives, but he doesn't put together it's all an act for the kids and gets
You smell like
angry
beef
after
cheese,
he
you don't
lost
smell
it.
like Santa.
I think this scene works because it's believable and, yeah, a little mean.
How can you live with yourself? Just cool it, Zippy. You sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah, but that one's pretty funny. I'll let it slide.
Okay.
I also think how these kids are horrified but then start cheering when it gets violent. Again, they can see real comedy too. Are you sure? Because strangely, the best Santa Clauses are violent.
Why? Like, why the guy? Why that Santa from Ernest Saves Christmas? You know, that one.
This guy
I mean, Jack Skellington, like he wasn't all like he didn't realize what was going on when he was given the toys. Bad Santa, like, you know, that's a bit different. But all right, so back to it. Yeah, and yep, sponsor.
In order to find wisdom. What did I find? ExpressVPN. Weird I get internet connection up here, but that's just from all the newfound wisdom I have now.
Where'd you get the shots of a
Using
mountain?
internet without ExpressVPN is like taking a...
Let's
sharing. This mobile. I've
skip,
been using
skip this.
There is here for a limit mobile plan. That's what you need. That's on Twitch. We also
Okay.
have content 6 days a week. Hope to see you there.
And just one more thing. There was something I was going to mention. Yeah, because again, that scene where Buddy, you know, rips off the beard of like the person performing as Santa. Like, I kind of forget now. Like, Buddy now thinks that Santa is fake, or no, because someone was like he felt that someone was pretending to be Santa, and it's not Santa, back at the North Pole and so on. If you get what I'm saying, like, yeah, I think that's what it is. But yeah, and yeah, because like as Doug pointed out, because the kids they went from being terrified to cheering. Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, and the fact that the manager, because he tackled the guy dressed as Santa, I think because, and that's another thing, like, oh my gosh, I just now realized, like, Doug had nothing to say on that one scene where, when the store closed, Buddy was still there, and then he started, building all these Lego sets of New York, and then the next day, the manager is impressed by this, and then, his reaction to seeing the guy dressed as Santa, using a bat and trying to swat at Buddy, but instead, hitting those Lego sets, yeah, just, oh my gosh. Alright, but anyways, back to it.
Buddy's dad bails him out of prison. Yeah, they cut the scene where he encounters a male prostitute wearing the same outfit. On research, he realizes he might be the son he never knew he had.
Okay.
Hi, I'm the script doctor, but I think the way things are going, I'll be the director by the end of this. Can I listen to your next
Well, Jon Favreau has acted in movies he's directed, of course.
This is like a Rankin Bass version of Rain Man. Fun fact, Han apparently turned his head away from the camera because he was laughing so
Oh, I could see, the squinching of his
He's
eyes,
doing something right.
It's a boy.
When the blood shows he is in fact his son, he takes him in to live with his family. Led by Mary Steenburgen, again desperately trying to elevate the afterthought role she was given.
You like sugar, huh?
We elves try to stick to the 4 main food groups: candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup.
I think the poster would look more like this if that was true.
Are you crazy? He cannot stay.
Fat buddy.
Is your son?
We don't even have enough money to put soda in our glasses.
I forget, like, I don't think the movie establishes what happened to
Just put it up.
Buddy's mom,
After
you
leaving the
know.
Zool building, no, really, that's the Zool building. Man, this could have been a different movie. Buddy hangs out with Michael, but is attacked by bullies
Well-
and snowballs.
It's not in the same world with Ghostbusters.
What's flying weaponry in Black Hawk Down? And I guess they used all the good effects in the opening because.
Well,
Don't worry, Favreau will get much better effects in the future, and although Costume is a good movie.
come on, like, I didn't think it was that bad.
Copyright expired.
His dad takes him to work, where we encounter Amy Sedaris, Kyle Gass, and Andy Richter.
Yep.
None of them allowed to be funny, but I'd be lying.
Amy Sedaris would work with Jon Favreau multiple times. One of his lucky charms, I guess.
Also, I'm trying to become a thing. Please help me become a thing. He gets the mailroom dancing to Whoop There It Is because we're in 1993. But again, it's worth it for cons under it.
At that time, yeah, he left Conan's talk show. Until they came to TBS, I think, yeah.
Admit it, every scene looks like that's about to happen. But he finally works up the nerve to ask Jovi out. And I guess their chemistry is pretty weak because I didn't even remember them going out in this. I'll give Zoe credit. She is trying hard to make all these scenes that would turn every woman away look charming and delightful.
Yeah.
She's thinking, okay, in the final version, they are going to CG him out with an alien, right? The next day, a big-time writer named Miles Finch, played by Peter Dinklage,
Yep.
tries to help Buddy's father with his dwindling business.
Good old
and
Peter
I won't
Dinklage.
lie, I had a ton of jokes ready about why this scene wouldn't age well.
I didn't know you had elves working here.
Yeah.
But it actually held up better than I thought.
It's not
It works
that
because
bad.
there's
It's not
two
bad, like,
opposite
I think we should get the
fighting each other, and
joke.
Both are funny. You got Farrell earnestly thinking he's met someone from home and being really, really kind, and Dinklage thinking he's mocking him. And
Although
honestly
how the
acting
elves
like
look
a
in this
saint
movie,
for early moments.
different.
You're hilarious,
You know.
friend.
Does Santa know that you left the workshop?
You know, we're all laughing our heads off.
Then you got Dinklage snapping and going after him, and Farrell completely confused about why this is happening. Why is his friend from home ripping him to shreds for his compliments? And Khan's performance was more
He must be a
laser
South
reaction
Pole.
with creases
South
on his
Pole
forehead,
elf,
and
yeah.
you get a pretty hilarious moment.
He thinks he's an elf.
Yeah, that'll fix it up. Sometimes this movie just works.
Yeah.
Maybe the writing in this is better than I thought. It's not like they used the 3 laziest words in plot exposition.
As you know, we need a big launch fast.
Back to the shit pile.
Dad,
What is it?
Buddy ran away.
Thank God. Oh, I mean, thank God.
If you want to keep your job, Hobbs, you will pitch me this book right now.
We get that lay in your family or your job scene.
You walked out of here.
But he knows what's right.
For me, I'd forever be a guy in a suit behind a desk for every movie I'm in. And they search for Buddy. Don't do it, George. You have a wonderful life.
That's Buddy Clarence.
Oh, screw it. He can jump.
What's that reference to?
Okay,
now another ad. Again, I don't think about about that sequence with Peter Dinklage and Buddy mistaking him for an elf, like, it's not bad, and I think we all should get the joke, you know what I'm saying? And it's just strange that, you know, Peter Dinklage's character, he was, like, he said to Buddy, like, you know, call me elf one more time, and it's like he was waiting for him to say it. He wanted him to say it again. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and of course he did. Forcing him to, like, he wanted him to say it again. And yeah, that didn't help, because when James Caan's character, you know, told Peter Dinklage, you know, he thinks he's an elf, that does not help. So, you know, yeah, so, and again, like, yeah, that thing, that what Doug brought up, you know, family and, you know, your job and so on, Yeah, and of course, James Caan's character, he knew what to do, the right thing to do and such. Yeah. So, anyways, all right, back to it. Like, go back a notch.
You have a wonderful life.
That's Buddy Clarence.
Oh, screw it. He can jump.
Okay, so what is that reference? I'm not sure if I get it.
He randomly runs into Santa, whose sleigh is running low on magic because not enough people are believing.
Will you fix it for me, buddy?
I'll try.
Okay, so I am impressed how quickly this film went by. Like, when we got to this point, I was kind of shocked we were here already. But on that note, this climax kind of drags. They're stuck in a visually dull area where you're
I had no
just
problem with it.
looking at people looking at sled, or looking at people looking at people looking at a sled, or looking at people looking at people looking at people looking at a sled. Why is this exciting?
Maybe a little chemically imbalanced, but you've been right about a lot of things.
That's a look Will Ferrell gives after being called chemically imbalanced a lot. Oh, and we randomly have villains all of a sudden.
Only the
Not really.
remain in the park. These horses are highly trained, but rarely.
And they had to throw in thunder and lightning.
Did Favreau think this was his first Marvel movie? I wish Mickey Rourke was this threatening in Iron Man 2.
Like, what were the Central Park Rangers really gonna do?
Throw your flaming pumpkins at him.
Headless Horseman reference.
There's no Christmas spirit.
There's no Christmas spirit because people are terrified of Zoe's death glare. Guys are like, Cyclops, keep it closed, keep it closed.
Real Santa. He needs our help.
Hey, Michael, are you okay?
Zoe, you can tell us you thought this movie was gonna bomb, didn't you? That's why you're phoning in this third act.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is simple.
I think it's just how the personality of her character is. Just saying.
You better not cry, you better not
My God, such a booming voice of indifference would silence any New York street corner on Christmas Eve. She gets everybody singing, and the news records it because they don't report the news anymore. They just kind of leave the camera on and hope something happens. Yeah, it's not that far-fetched. But Buddy's dad's refusal to sing is the only thing stopping the sleigh from taking flight. Because Elf, I don't know.
And he's all that's left to sing, and thus,
What
yeah.
the competition later.
It was that close to them, like...
Guess somebody asked for the Polar Express soundtrack this Christmas. I knew Deschanel was a CG puppet in all this.
Well, this came out a year before Polar Express.
Buddy's dad writes a children's book that becomes a slightly less annoying Broadway musical, and our two main characters'
Yeah.
complete lack of chemistry gives birth to a baby girl. Oh, I was in this. I
Yes.
don't know, it wasn't funny. Bye. And that was Elf. I get why a lot of people
He
don't
didn't
like
talk
it.
about-
Things I don't like about it.
He didn't really talk about
But
Leon.
it works just enough for me.
Eh.
Yes, the writing could be a lot funnier, and it has its fair share of awkward moments, but the performances of Farrell and Khan do eventually pull it through. When Farrell seems sincere, it really works, and when he reaches too far for a joke, Khan is there to pull it back to where it gets a laugh again.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, if I had to watch it over and over year after year, it'd probably get on my nerves too. But as a once-in-a-while flick, I think it's serviceable enough.
Yeah.
It's not one of my personal favorites, but I remember having a good enough time where I say, I'm not going to watch this every year, but maybe every 5 years. 10 every 10 years. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, if you're in the mood to watch...
How's our decide Elf?
If anybody's in the mood to watch Elf, that's the thing.
I now pronounce you disciple and wife.
What the hell did I miss?
Hey, Critic.
Yeah.
This is Zoe. I met her today, and now we're married. Hello.
You did all that in the past 20 minutes.
It was love at first sight. She screamed. She stopped me in the shower. She screamed. She ran around in circles. She screamed. It was magic.
And Malcolm, are you licensed to marry anyone?
No, but they didn't seem to care.
Come, darling. Let me sing okay-ish while you howl at the top of your lungs. You have ears. She's so romantic.
What, they can beam away?
I don't know.
Just random, like,
Hey, Michael, are you okay?
energize. Hey, Michael, are you okay?
It's cameo for
And charity shout out. Yeah, and Toys for Tots. Like, yeah, and that's the thing, because, like, they, like, as of now, like, every December, and I think for the first Nostalgia Critic video for the month of December, the charity shout out would be for Toys for Tots. And that story that Doug has shared where, you know, they learned and discovered Toys for Tots, if anybody knows that story, and if any of you have seen the Nostalgia Critic videos around Christmas, and with that, you know. All right. Oh, boy. Well, that was pretty good. Not bad. A not bad review on Elf, and understandable for what Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say about Elf. But more on that in the jump cut. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the Nostalgia Critic's review of Elf. And again, a not bad review on the movie Elf itself, what Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say about the film, and, you know, because with, like, first off, you know, with the jokes in the film, like, they can sometimes work here and there, and, you know, some awkward moments, and also what Doug had to say about the acting, especially from Will Ferrell and the late James Caan. Yeah, I think he made a good point there. And as for the others, like the late Ed Asner and, you know, Zoe Sadach, yeah, I think I'm saying her last name right, Maristine Bergen, yeah, all that Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say on Elf is understandable. And, you know, also the fact that this was Jon Favreau's first big-time movie that he directed. Yeah, and who'd have thought that when this film came out, what he would go on to direct next? I tell ya. And as of now, like, now that he has been a part of the MCU and Star Wars and what he's brought to Star Wars, as we all know, oh my gosh, like, Jon Favreau's the man. And as I mentioned at one point, because, yeah, at times Jon Favreau, you know, he's acted in movies that he's directed, like, most notably, well, the Iron Man movies, Happy Hogan, and one of my favorite movies from Jon Favreau being Chef, where, you know, he's the main star of that movie, and the fact that, you know, he's also the director. Well, there have been, you know, a good handful of movies where whoever it is that's directing that movie is also the main star. Like William Shatner, he directed Star Trek V, and he was, of course, the main star. Jonathan Frakes, also, because, you know, more on Star Trek. Jonathan Frakes, yeah, him too. And Leonard Nimoy as well, like especially The Voyage Home. Because, you know, in The Search for Spock, he showed up right at the end of the movie, so... Others like Gene Kelly, the late Gene Kelly, when he directed Singing in the Rain, because he co-directed it, so there's that. There are others, but, you know, especially like TV, like Star Trek 2, you know, like Next Generation, Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, you know, when they've directed episodes of The Next Generation, they too, you know, being in the episodes. So I could go on, and yeah, you get the point. Yeah, I mean, again, and okay, but with Elf, because the funny moments, like, and as I pointed out, like, some of my favorite funny moments, like, well, where Buddy is, like, running and screaming, like, at that slide door. I think that's what it's called, the slide door. And when he shouts, "Santa! Oh my God!" That's my favorite, yeah. I think I also, yeah, and others I can think of, like, yeah, I think it's funny because when, you know, Santa tells him that his father's on the naughty list and he's shouting, "No!" And, like I said, that being the thumbnail, because what I did earlier, yeah, definitely, that has to be the thumbnail, and thus, yeah, you saw the thumbnail. I also like, you know, because when he starts to sense the fact that it's not really Santa, you know, the guy dressed as Santa, and, like, you know, one of the last things he says right before he pulls off the beard, you know, "You smell like beef cheese, you don't smell like Santa." It's funny. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I grew up with Elf. I watched it a couple of times during Christmas with me and my parents, and like I said, my mom, like, I understand her opinion, like, you know, it's not really her favorite Christmas film, but I think I did ask her, like, if she does like it a bit. I think she does, you know? And I think Elf is one of the few movies that she can handle Will Ferrell. So, you know. And again, like, I understand her opinion and so on. No, nothing wrong with that, you know? We're all entitled to our opinion on what we like, you know, when it comes to a movie and so on. You get my point. But, yeah. So, once again, what Doug had to say about the movie Elf, yeah, understandable. And, oh, yeah, and one more thing I'd like to mention, because, you know, at one point he mentioned Elf the musical. Yeah, because there is a musical of Elf. Well, I also remember seeing, yeah, I think I've seen the entirety of it. There's like that stop-motion version of Elf the musical. You have Jim Parsons, you have Mark Hamill, you have the late Gilbert Gottfried, and the late Ed Asner reprising, but, you know, this time voicing Santa. So yeah, if anybody has seen that, I have, and I think it was not bad. It seemed like, actually, because it had a pretty good voice cast, like Jim Parsons as Buddy, and Mark Hamill voicing Buddy's dad. Come on, like, that's good casting right there, you know? And Gilbert Gottfried, he played, well, the little boss, you know, that was pissed off over Buddy. And turns out that in that version, Gilbert Gottfried's character was kind of like a villain and trying to ruin Christmas or something. Again, if anybody has seen that, and if you know what I'm talking about, I'm just saying. But yeah, once again, overall, the Nostalgia Critics review of Elf, a not bad review, and everything that he had to say about Elf is understandable. And what about you guys? What did you think of the video itself? You know, how you feel about the movie Elf, and with its jokes, and, you know, and everything that Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, said about Elf. And what did you think of my reaction? Leave comments, and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critics review of Elf. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/reaction. And yep, of course, you know, going to be reacting to more Nostalgia Critic videos that are Christmassy. You know, of course, you have to. Yeah. And happy anniversary to Elf. Take care, peace out, and happy holidays to you all.